there's probably a small subculture of people out there that would pay lots of money just to watch me eat food that isn't super like perfect by the book what I say eat all the time in terms of intermittent fasting and keto. I like demonize so many foods that maybe I just got to have a little fun now and then. So you're going to sit here and you're going to watch me eat, but I'm going to have a cheat meal. All right, and I'm going to show you what my cheat meal is. I'm going to explain it to you, and then I'm going to post up the recipe as well in the description. I'm also going to link out to my wife's channel who made the recipe, and then I'm also going to link out to the ice cream so you can check it all out. But what I wanted to implement is I wanted to create my own day. I want to have some fun with this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat my cheat meal. I'm going to chow down and I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to tell you a couple funny stories about my life because you don't get to see this side of Thomas very often. You see me in monologue form, being regimented, telling you what to do, what not to do. You don't just get to chill and have a meal with me. So you get to enjoy and watch me stuff my face for a minute. But also on August 28th, I am creating that as National Cheat Meal Day. If that's your birthday, awesome. Probably isn't, but if it is, really cool, because it's going to be National Cheat Meal Day. And what I want you to do on National Thomas DeLauer Created Cheat Meal Day is I want you to take a picture of your cheat meal, post it on Instagram, post it wherever, and tag me in it. My Instagram handle is @ThomasDeLauer. Tag me in it. I will reshare them as much as I can. 28th of August is National Cheat Meal Day. So anyhow, what I have here, I have a flourless keto chocolate cake that my wife made. So it's a lava cake. So it's like super gooey in the middle. Okay, so it's got 6 eggs. I'll go ahead and I'll link out to the recipe, but it's got 6 eggs. It's got a ½ cup of cream. It's got some vanilla, like a teaspoon of vanilla. It's got a ½ cup of butter in it. It's got 2 tablespoons of cream cheese. It's got 3/4 of a cup of either like monk fruit sweetener, or Lakanto type sweetener. It's got 1 cup of cocoa, so alkalized cocoa. It's got 1½ teaspoons of baking powder and about 1/4 to a ½ teaspoon of salt. Okay, now, I'll put it all down below in the description, but that makes like 6 or 8 of these things. And you put them in the oven for like 8 minutes so they're not fully cooked. So there's no flour, no phytates, no grains, nothing, okay? It's just straight up like dairy, fat, and yeah. And then I'm using my Enlightened Keto ice cream, which they are a sponsor on this channel and is awesome because now I've got a bunch of ice cream. And this is their new triple chocolate brownie dough. Okay, so triple chocolate brownie dough, so 7 grams of net carbs in an entire pint. Okay, so we're talking some pretty awesome keto-friendly ice cream here. So I put a link down below for you to check them out. You can get them at Whole Foods, you can get them at Walmart. There are a lot of different stores, but if you want to get them online, I put a link down below so you can save a couple bucks and give them a shot. So big thank you to Enlighten for allowing me to stuff my face with some awesome keto ice cream and show a side of Thomas that people haven't seen before. Oh man, that looks so good. I'm just give myself a big old bowl of it. Nice thing about keto ice cream is the consistency is so creamy and it's kind of like, you can't really describe it until you try it, but this triple chocolate, I'm a big chocolate guy anyway, right? So I've talked about PPAR alpha activation, fat adaptation, how chocolate can actually help you out with fat adaptation, which is kind of cool. Not saying that eating this is gonna magically get you fat adapted. I'm just gonna go ahead and start here. And the first, check this out. Remember, it's National Cheat Meal Day. Oh, look how gooey that is. Now, if you make this, get this when it's warm, it's totally gooey like lava cake. All right, show you my first story I've got. I was living in Texas and we went to meet my sister in New Orleans. We were gonna drive from Austin to New Orleans, okay? And I'm eating really healthy at that point in time, right? I'm on my whole weight loss kick. I'm keto, I'm following the book the way I'm supposed to. And my sister's an Ironman triathlete. She's super focused on what she is eating and her training lifestyle and all that. So we get to, you don't get to see me do this often. So you're gonna complain about the lip smacking, the noises that make you wanna throw up when I'm smacking, but you like it, right? Because it's called mukbang. There's all this mukbang stuff. People get like addicted to just watching people eat. And am I doing that in this video? Am I trying to just get you addicted to watching me eat? Not really. I just want to tell a story and have some fun with it and just have a different taste and do something different on my channel. But you're in for an interesting treat. So anyway, we get to New Orleans, meet up with my sister. I'm starving. And we sit down at this table at this restaurant and we see this thing on the menu that we've never heard of before called muffaletta or muffaletta. Like, what the heck is muffaletta? And we asked the waiter what this is. This is so good. We asked the waiter what it is, and he's having a hard time describing it. He's like, it's a salad. It's like a salad with olives and some cheese. I'm like, oh man, salad sounds good. and he delivers it. And if you've ever had muffaletta before, it's not a freaking salad. Like, it's about as far from a salad as you can get. But in New Orleans, they consider that a salad. Up on the screen, you see a picture of what a muffaletta is. It's a piece of bread with like a mountain of cheese, a mountain of salami, a mountain of prosciutto, a mountain of more cheese, and a little bit of olive tapenade. So we're like, okay, well, here's our salad. All right. That's not the funniest story in the world, but it's still something kind of interesting. Then another thing, God, this is so good. Take a big old bite here. Hang on. Let me just take a big bite. This doesn't take forever for me to eat this. Oh, God. This is all keto, by the way. So my cheat meal isn't really a cheat meal. Calorie-wise, yeah, I'm going overboard on the calories for sure, but I probably need it. Anyway, okay, so we take a trip up to Fayetteville, Arkansas. So we drive up there. It's the heart of the Ozarks. You've never seen the movie Ozarks or the show Ozarks. You know what I'm talking about, right? So we had our 4 dogs with us at this point in time, pre-kids. We get up to Fayetteville, Arkansas. There has just been a bunch of tornadoes, like little tornadoes. And we get to our trailhead, which is up this random dirt road. And we start going for a hike. And as we start going for a hike, there's this kind of creepy guy. And he's hanging out over there. And he's like stuffing a bunch of stuff in this random shanty out in the middle of Arkansas, which, Randy, we're from California originally, right? So we're still kind of acclimating to a little bit of the Arkansas kind of vibe going. This guy, he's like stuffing like big rolls of carpet and like creepy. He's got this creepy dog named Ernie that continually just wants to hump us. It's interesting. Anyway, so he's telling us that, you know, there's tornadoes and that he was like stocking stuff up in his like little shanties. So everything got off to a weird start to begin with. It just set a cryptic sort of melancholic vibe for this hike. So we went on the hike. And then Amber starts feeling kind of sick, right? Amber's feeling a little bit nauseous. And she's like, I think I'm starting to come down with something. And we're like 7-8 miles out on this hike. And she's starting to get delirious. Now, if you've ever had the flu, you know how you start to hallucinate, start to kind of sleep? Well, she was starting to go that route. We're deep in the woods. Thunderheads are starting to roll in. We're like, crud, we're gonna get stuck out here with a dang tornado. And all we can think of is we're in the middle of the Ozarks. We're thinking Deliverance style stuff. We're thinking, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this like soccer ball comes rolling down the hill. A soccer ball. Like, what is going on? Like, why is there a soccer ball rolling down the hill? All we can think of is like Deliverance, like maybe a creepy kid out playing soccer. Like, I mean, it was freaking us out. Like, and my wife, bless her soul, is like hallucinating. She's freaking out. She thinks it's over. Like, she's like, like it's done. And then all of a sudden, the soccer ball pops open and runs away. It's a damn armadillo, right? So we're just like, what the heck is going on? We come back, we just hustle back. We end up 180 and going back to the car. Like, okay, I don't know if you've ever seen an armadillo before. If you're not from, you know, the South or, you know, Arkansas, parts of Texas, you know, armadillos are kind of weird creatures. Okay, and you'll only see them in the cartoons. So we were just tripped out. And we come back and Ernie's, the dog, his name is Ernie, is just like floating around, hanging around, you know, doing some weird thing. So anyway, that's another funny story. Now I got another weird one. It's so good. This triple chocolate, I hope that you choose this as your cheat meal. If you follow the recipe that I gave you, and you follow my wife, and you follow the recipe that's in the description, and you use this enlightened chocolate, you're gonna love it. Like, it's seriously an amazing treat. All right, so my dad, and before he passed away, he got a little bit kind of kooky. Like, he was always making these really weird concoctions. And we're sitting there, going over to his house to have dinner. And he decides that he wants to make a chicken curry for us. Well, this chicken curry is made up of all kinds of weird stuff. He goes and he boils chicken. Boils it. Doesn't season it, takes regular chicken, puts it in a pan, boils it. Then he goes out in his backyard, picks cherry plums that had fallen over the fence from the neighbor's yard on the ground, pits and all, throws them in a pot along with some currants, along with like some random liquid that he mixed with like curry spice to make curry. He put regular cherry tomatoes in there, all kinds of just weird stuff, okay? And then he put it over terribly cooked rice. And we're sitting at the table, and he goes on the computer. He sits down, and he starts doing his eBay stuff. Because at this point in his life, he was really just into eBay. And he gets this email. And we're sitting at the table. My wife and I are sitting at the table with our bowl of food. And he goes, oh no, my friend passed away. And we're like, oh, Dad, I'm so sorry. So sorry to hear that. Like, that's terrible. He's like, oh, you guys kids, just eat your food. I got to deal with this. I'm like, okay, he's really like upset about this. What's going on? And we're pretending to eat because this is terrible. We got our dogs underneath us. I'm giving them cherry plums. Bo, the old dog's choking on a dang pit because it was still left in the cherry plum. And like, so another 3-4 minutes goes by. We haven't said a word. My dad just goes, kids, just eat your food. We are, Dad, all good, it's delicious. Don't worry about it. You deal with what you got to deal with, Dad. A couple minutes comes by. He calls up his friend. We hear this phone call. Hey, did you hear that so-and-so passed away? Yeah, well, you remember him. He was an old guy. Very descriptive language, right? Anyway, bottom line is, by now we've fed almost all the curry to the dogs. Long story short, dogs didn't sit too well with the dogs either, but my dad comes and he sits back down. He goes like this, he goes, oh, can't believe it. I'm like, Dad, I'm so sorry. And he, after all this for like 20 minutes had gone on, like just this whole charade. It was really weird. And then he sits down and he goes, I don't know why I'm so upset. I never met the guy. I don't know why I'm so upset that he passed away. I never met him. I'm like, Dad, you just had this like 20-minute charade about this whole thing. He goes, oh, I don't know. That just gives you some insight into my dad, right? Just interesting, funny, kooky guy. A lot of the stories that I have are funny, but they're not exactly allowed on YouTube, so I can't tell a lot of them. So now let's talk science for a second. The cool thing is, having a cheat meal every now and then can actually have a pretty powerful metabolic effect. Now, if you've been doing keto and you have a cheat meal, what can end up happening is you can be what's called glucose intolerant. Doing keto for extended periods of time, you don't process glucose as well. So if you were to have a cheat meal that had a bunch of carbohydrates in it, you could absolutely have a very high blood sugar spike, feel totally like garbage, and really make yourself trigger some metabolic issues with that, right? You can have like an inflammatory response. That's why people typically don't feel too good. That's why I usually recommend like periodically having carbohydrates so you don't have to deal with that as a problem. It's like not that big of a deal if you have some carbohydrates now and then to knock yourself out of keto. But if you're really strict on keto, remember a cheat meal is more about emotion more than anything else. In order to actually trigger a metabolic benefit from a surplus of calories, it needs to occur for like 10 days. You're not going to get a huge metabolic benefit out of having just a bunch of food in one sitting. If anything, it can actually sabotage you more than anything because you can be so insulin resistant or so like glucose tolerant that it triggers, lipoprotein lipase, it triggers fat accumulation a lot easier. So if you're strict keto and you haven't had carbs for a while, you are better off to have a cheat meal that is lower carb, okay? But if you're trying to restore your metabolism, you're better off taking a break from your diet for a little bit and actually just incorporating more calories back up at maintenance level. So what that would look like, let's say your basal metabolic rate is 2,000 calories a day. You're supposed to consume 2,000 calories to maintain your weight. And you've been on a diet where you're consuming 1,500 calories for a while. Well, once you hit a plateau, you should probably go back to like 2,000 calories a day for about 2 weeks. So you don't go overboard, you go back to your maintenance, okay? It's called a diet break, and the most like proclaimed diet experts in the world will still preach that same thing because it takes 10 to 14 days for the metabolism to sort of reset a little bit. So I don't want you thinking that a cheat meal is going to magically make everything right. A cheat meal is more about living your life, having a psychological break, and I can tell you, after eating all this right now, I want to eat super clean tomorrow. Okay? I want to be able to get back on my diet. And the nice thing is, at least with like Enlightened, you could have this every now and then. You could have everything that I'm eating right now a couple times per week, maybe not in the amounts that I'm having, but it's not going to have a huge negative effect, right? Okay, because keto, yes, it's about getting the right nutrients in, but it's really about keeping you in a specific macronutrient range and then making sure you're getting the micronutrients in and everything like that. So, every now and then, let yourself go. Like, let your hair go down a little bit. So on August 28th, on August 28th, enjoy a cheat meal. Have some fun. And if you want to see me being a little bit more like me sometimes and actually just less Thomas DeLauer YouTube guy and more Thomas DeLauer total weirdo goofball, let me know. All right, and as always, make sure you check out Enlightened. Check that link out down below. Again, big thank you to them for the continued support. Make sure you check out this new triple chocolate flavor. It is unreal. And again, 7 grams of net carbs. They have some that are even less. Delicious flavors across the board. My second favorite flavor is this chocolate peanut butter one, which John, the videographer today, is going to be taking home, even though he's like, please don't send me with any more ice cream, because I gave him a lot of ice cream last time, but he loves it. He knows he does, and he's going to eat all of it tonight. So anyway, make sure you check Enlightened out down below, and I will see you tomorrow. That's good. I don't want to stop.